everyone, welcome to my channel. Let's talk Harry and Meghan. So Meghan has sold out of all her stuff. We know that she had a lot, as she said here.
We spent so much time making sure we had so much more inventory. That's why we took the time.
And what you heard her say is that they planned for this, so you know the demand was huge. So congratulations to our Duchess for selling out all her products. I am so happy for her. Leading up to her as ever summer drop, she had a sit down podcast with Emma, and Emma had some takeaways from that interview.
So when I sat down with Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, I expected a great conversation, but what I didn't expect was how much clarity, conviction, and honestly, genuine wisdom that she brought to the table. Meghan doesn't just talk about building a brand. She's building something with purpose, precision, and with a lot of heart. And there are a few moments that really stayed with me. The first one was trust your timeline. She said, someone else's urgency is not my urgency. And that hit. She's not rushing to meet outside expectations. She's building with care on her own terms. And that discipline shows in every move that she makes. The second one was own the vision, share the work. Meghan talks about creating something where you feel her fingerprints all over it. She believes in collaboration, but not at the expense of intention. You can delegate, but you still have to show up. The third thing was to protect what matters the most. And she spoke about being present for her kids and having to ask herself if she could do it well enough or if she should just do a few things exceptionally well. And that idea really resonates with me because it's not about balance. It never is. It's about priorities. Next, you have to make your message unmistakable. For Meghan, influence isn't just about visibility, it's about intentionality. And even in silence, she used her platform to elevate others. Every choice was a signal, redirecting attention, value, and visibility towards people and principles that matter. Her reminder was that influence is power, but how you use it, that's purpose. And then finally, she says success starts small. As ever started with homemade jam, not splashy rollout, just a personal gesture. And it grew because it was real. And that's the reminder that you too can start small. Just start with what you love. So let me know which moment stuck out to you. And if you haven't listened to the full episode, Aspire with Emma Grede is available now on Apple Podcasts and wherever you get your podcasts.
In that clip, you heard Emma speak about how Meghan was able to move products even when she was in the institution over there. And just by wearing what she was wearing, it helped other brands. And when she left the institution, you saw that effect carry over into everything that she was selling out. So for the Meghan effect to translate into Meghan's own non-fashion focused brand is absolutely awesome. We know many of these so-called journalists and reporters are enraged about Meghan's success and they try to distract. They don't even report it on a wide scale that she has sold out again. What they instead do is to twist what she's doing. And one of the latest twists is how they're reporting on her upcoming launch of her rose wine that is going to be available July 1st. They're calling it alcohol, beverage, or booze, or however they're trying to frame it. Is it alcohol or booze? Yes. But the fact is, I've never seen any of these outlets talk about a wine coming out by anyone in this manner. We see the same sort of hypocrisy in how they're reporting on King Charles' Netflix deal. The headline from Daily Mail says, quote, King Charles teams up with Netflix for new documentary starring Idris Elba. End quote. That's how they wrote about it. Quite calm, quite tame, as if they didn't spend years smearing Harry and Meghan about this Netflix deal, while knowing that Harry and Meghan had to make money somehow because they didn't leave the UK with anything other than Prince Harry's inheritance. Of course, Meghan had some money, but in any environment under the pressure and the scrutiny, security risk, where they needed to live, that money couldn't last perhaps max 2 years. So, for years they went on and on. One of the first headlines they wrote back in 2020 was, quote, how can Prince Harry take millions from the streaming giant that traduces the truth about his family, end quote. That's how they were framing that back then, while tamely talking about this. But we see little by little some of the royalists, they're coming out with news about them over there. Yes, they are. Now I see there's a little bit of like glove off about it. Like, for example, the Daily Beast, which we know is a royalist coverage, says, quote, why Kate Middleton and King Charles' simmering tension just exploded in public, end quote. I didn't read the article, as I have said many times. I'm not giving them the click unless it's disseminated somewhere else. But they know that headlines matter. They know that people are looking at it and many times not reading the full story. And that is the kind of stance they've taken for years when it comes to Harry and Meghan. They put the most inflammatory headline, knowing that people are not going to read the story. So they did this to that left behind lady over there. And this headline is in sharp contrast to another headline from a little over a year ago that said, quote, King Charles and Kate Middleton are closer than ever following C diagnosis, end quote. So more and more we're seeing headlines like those where we see them missing a planned event, or you hear about them hiring a divorce lawyer, or any of these things. So if they're using it to build attention or intrigue, or there's something deeper going on, only time will tell. But why I sometimes mention these people is because we can contrast the difference in coverage. If this was something Harry and Meghan were doing, this would be blasted across the world, and not in a reporting kind of way, but they would smear Harry and Meghan endlessly with it. So that's just what we see. But in any case, Harry and Meghan are doing their thing. As we just know, yesterday, Meghan sold out of her products, which has been reported that is 10 times the amount of the last stock. So together, Harry and Meghan are doing their thing and shutting out the noise. Anyway, guys, that's it for now with this podcast. Thank you so much for joining me. If you like my content, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And talk to you soon. Bye.